All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're focusing on Metanoz, a new website builder that's, well, they're making some bold claims. You sent over their marketing material, so let's really break down what they're promising and what it could mean for someone like you know, thinking about using it.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to see how these website builder companies, I mean, it's a crowded market, how they're trying to stand out. What are they emphasizing? Who are they even talking to? And these marketing materials, they're definitely a good place to start.
Okay, so right off the bat, Metanoz is leading with easy to use, right? Drag and drop builder, no coding needed. They're saying get a site up and running super fast. It sounds like they're going after that busy entrepreneur who needs to be online but doesn't want to mess around with all the technical stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That speed and simplicity thing, I mean, it's everywhere in the website builder world right now. People want it all. Powerful but easy.
Mm.
And Metanos is they're tapping into that. But the question is, are they giving up flexibility, for those advanced features just to keep things simple, something to think about as we dig deeper.
And it's not just about building the site quickly. They're also talking about fast loading times for the website itself because of their CDN hosting. That's a pretty big deal these days, right? And page speed, it's huge for SEO and just keeping visitors happy.
Oh, absolutely. A CDN or content delivery network, it basically takes your website's files and puts copies on servers all over the world. So someone visiting your site, they get the content from a server that's close to them. I mean, it can make a huge difference in loading times, especially if your visitors are spread out geographically. Smart move from Metanos, especially since they seem to be, aiming at those business owners who get how important a fast website is.
Right. And speaking of appealing to businesses, they're going all in on those e-commerce tools. They list like everything. I mean, multiple payment gateways, shipping options. They even have detailed sales analytics and bulk SMS marketing. They almost want to be like a one-stop shop for online businesses, not just a basic website builder.
Yeah. That is interesting. They're going beyond just the basic e-commerce features, that you see on a lot of these platforms. I mean, things like that bulk SMS and the in-depth analytics, that's for businesses who want to like really grow and fine-tune things. It kind of ties in with their whole thing about speed and efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Building a platform that streamlines like every part of running a business online.
But even while they're pushing all this, sophisticated business stuff, they also want to reassure people about the basics. Security, like they highlight SSL certificates, mobile responsiveness, and privacy protection, almost like they're trying to check off all the boxes, to answer those common concerns that people have.
Yeah, it's smart marketing. Those features, I mean, they're pretty standard now for any website builder, especially if they're going after businesses. But just because they mention them, doesn't necessarily mean they do them better than everyone else. It's more about, trying to give potential customers that sense of, hey, we take this stuff seriously.
And of course, you can't have a marketing campaign without a little bit of social proof, right?
Yeah.
Metanos, they proudly say over 1,000 website owners trust Metanos. But as with any claim like that, I mean, we don't know, we can't really verify the number, right? Or how happy those owners actually are.
Right. Social proof, it's powerful stuff, but it's, can be misleading. Important for anyone looking at Metanos to take it with a grain of salt and maybe look for other more concrete signs of, happy customers, like real reviews, things like that.
Let's dig into their FAQ section for a second. This is where we might be able to do some reading between the lines. Okay, so they say, yes, you can use your own domain name, which is, I mean, that's essential for branding and SEO. But then they get to pricing and things get a little vague. They mention different plans, but no actual details.
Yeah, that lack of transparency on pricing, it's a pretty common tactic with website builders. It usually means they've got like tiered pricing, so they're hoping to upsell you to a more expensive plan later on, once you're hooked with the features. They might not want to scare people off early on with the price tag, if they're sensitive to cost.
And then they really, really emphasize customer support.
Yeah.
We're talking about 24/7 availability, like tons of tutorials, a giant FAQ section. Now, on one hand, that could mean they're genuinely committed to helping their users succeed. But on the other hand, maybe they're trying to like get ahead of potential problems because maybe the platform is more complicated than they're letting on in the marketing.
Yeah. Tough to say for sure without, actually using their support. But think about it this way. Good customer support, I mean, it can make or break a website builder. So if they're really going above and beyond, that could be a big selling point, especially for people who are new to this and might need a little extra help.
Good. So let's talk about the actual language they're using in these materials.
Yeah.
Lots of world-class this and best-in-class that. They're definitely trying to give off that premium vibe, that sense of like sophistication.
Smart strategy. They wanna stand out, position themselves above the competition, appealing to those users who value a premium experience and are willing to pay for it, right? This whole high-end thing, it's getting more and more common with website builders just because it's such a crowded market. They gotta do something to stand out.
And they make sure to say that the platform is built in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something more to that, beyond just stating a fact? Like, is there a deeper meaning there?
Oh yeah, definitely. When they say built in-house, it's kind of like they're implying that they have more control, more, tighter integration. The idea being that unlike those platforms that rely on a bunch of third-party tools and plugins, Metanoz it's like this one cohesive system designed to work perfectly together, from the ground up. And that can be appealing, right? Especially if you're concerned about stability and making sure things don't break. But it also makes you wonder about flexibility and customization, which we'll get into later.
They also really push free lifetime updates as a big benefit. Sounds great, but are there any downsides to think about? Could it be a way to lock people into their system, make it harder to switch to something else later on?
You've hit on something important there. Lifetime updates, they're a double-edged sword, right? On the one hand, you get continuous improvements, new features, security updates, all that. But it also means you're tied to Metanoz. So if you want to move to a different platform down the road, it could be tricky, maybe even expensive, especially if you've gotten used to their specific updates and features. It's worth thinking about those long-term implications before jumping in.
Okay, so we've gone through a lot of what Metanoz is directly telling us, but I'm kind of more interested in what they're not saying.
Yeah.
There are a few things missing here that I think raise some red flags.
Ah, yes. The art of reading between the lines. What's left unsaid can be just as important as what they shout from the rooftops. Let's put on our detective hats and see what we can find. All right, so we've picked apart Metanoz's marketing claims, but let's see what actual users are saying. Time to see if the experience matches the hype.
Exactly. I've been going through online reviews, user forums, and it's interesting. There's a mix of feedback, which you'd expect with any platform, but some patterns are starting to pop up. It gives us a better, more realistic picture of what Metanoz is good at and where maybe falls short.
Yeah, that's what we're after, right? Those recurring themes that go beyond the marketing spin and tell us what it's like to actually use the thing. So what are people loving?
Well, one thing that comes up a lot is ease of use. A lot of users, especially those who are new to building websites, they're really happy with the drag and drop interface and how intuitive the whole design is. They're saying it really does live up to that promise of simplicity that Metanoz keeps talking about.
Yeah, that backs up what we saw in the marketing. It seems like they've really nailed that user-friendly experience. Making it easy for anyone to build a website, which is, it's a big deal because a lot of these website builders, they can be really intimidating if you're not tech savvy.
And those pre-made templates they're always talking about, people seem to like them. It's nice to have a starting point, especially if you're, if you don't have a design background or where you just need to get something up and running fast.
Yeah, the templates they're smart. They appeal to that time is money crowd. But they also give you, a base to build on, customize things. It's a tough balance to get right, and a lot of website builders struggle with it.
Here's where things get a little trickier. Some users are raving about the customization options, but others are saying they're kind of limited. Like they hit a wall when they try to do something really specific with the design or how the site works. It's almost like they're running up against the limitations of a drag and drop system. Yeah, that's the eternal trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Ease of use versus design flexibility. A truly drag and drop system, it's never going to be as powerful as coding something from scratch. Sounds like Metanoz might be prioritizing those users who just want to get things done fast, maybe at the expense of those who need super specific design control. And this kind of connects to another thing that keeps popping up in the reviews, which is the e-commerce side of things. Most people agree that Metanoz have good e-commerce tools, but some are saying there are problems with integrations. Specifically, they're having trouble with with some popular payment gateways and shipping providers.
That's huge if you're planning on running a real online store. A smooth e-commerce process. It's absolutely essential, and any hiccups there can be a real nightmare. So if you're already using certain systems, or you prefer specific and third-party tools, it's crucial to really dig into how well Metanoz plays with them before you commit.
It's funny, their whole built-in house thing, which they presented as a plus, it might actually be part of the problem here. By creating this more closed system, they might be, unintentionally limiting the flexibility that some businesses need.
You're right. It's a classic trade-off you see with tech all the time. A closed system, like what Apple does, it can make things run really smoothly, but it often means, you lose some compatibility with other stuff. So if you're someone who likes to choose their own tools and be able to connect to different platforms easily, a more open system might be a better fit.
So speed. Remember how Metanoz was like really hammering on about their fast loading times and the CDN hosting? Well, most users are saying, yeah, their sites do load quickly, which is great, but there are a handful of people mentioning occasional downtime, server issues.
Right. That's something to be aware of with any hosting, really. No system is perfect, and you're always going to have some hiccups. What matters is how the company responds to those problems, how quickly they fix things. So if you're looking at Metanoz, it might be worth digging into, their uptime guarantees, what's their track record like when things go wrong.
And lastly, let's talk about customer support. This is where the feedback gets a little messy. Some people are really praising the support team, saying they're responsive, they're helpful, but then others are complaining about long wait times and getting those generic responses that don't really help.
Yeah, that inconsistency in support, it's not a good sign. It could mean they don't have enough staff, or maybe their training isn't great. It could even mean they're prioritizing certain customers over others, maybe those who are on the more expensive plans. Definitely something to be aware of, especially if you think you're gonna need a lot of help, or you're gonna be relying on their support team to get things done.
Okay, so taking all the user feedback together, we're getting this kind of complicated picture of Metanos, right? They seem to do well on ease of use and speed, especially for beginners who like that drag and drop stuff and have the templates to start with. But then the limitations on customization, the potential for e-commerce problems, and that inconsistent customer support, those are definitely valid concerns.
And what's interesting is how all of this reflects the bigger trends we're seeing with website builders in general. This constant back and forth between, making things easy to use but also powerful enough for people who need more control, the importance of integrations, making sure everything works together smoothly, and then just the overall reliance on having good customer support, because let's face it, we all need help sometimes. It's all shaping how this industry is evolving.
All right, so we've heard what Metano says about itself. We've looked at the marketing, and we've gotten a sense of what real users are experiencing. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, and it's a crucial one if you're trying to decide if Metanos is right for you.
And that piece is comparison. How does Metano stack up against the competition? What are the alternatives out there, and how do their strengths and weaknesses match up with what you need and what you care about?
Yeah, let's zoom out a little and see where Metanos fits in with all the other website builders out there. And to make this comparison useful, let's stick with those key things we've been talking about, right? Ease of use, customization, the e-commerce stuff, pricing, and customer support.
Good plan. And I mean, we got to start with the big one, right? Wix. It's the one everyone seems to go to when they're just starting out. Huge template library, easy drag and drop editor, but how does it actually compare to Metanoz in those key areas?
Well, for ease of use, Wix it's definitely up there. They've really made their interface slick over the years, and their app market. I mean, you can add so much extra functionality, but sometimes that ease of use it comes at the cost of customization, and once you start adding all those bells and whistles, Wix can get expensive, especially if you need those powerful e-commerce tools.
Right. Wix can be a bit of a money pit. It's easy to get going, but then you realize you need need more features or you want more control over the design, and that's when the price starts to really jump up. And their e-commerce stuff, it's decent,
Yeah.
but if you've got like a complex online store, it's probably not the best choice.
Okay, so what about Squarespace? They're all about, beautiful templates, making
Yeah.
making your website look amazing. You think they might be a better fit for someone who's really focused on the visual side of things?
Squarespace is, yeah, if design is your top priority, they're definitely worth looking at. Their templates they're always really well designed, clean, professional, and they've gotten better with their e-commerce stuff too. But their app market, it's not as big as Wix is. So you might not have as many options for adding extra functionality. And again, pricing, it can be a bit of a hurdle because they're definitely on the pricier side.
Yeah.
So we've got these platforms that are great for ease of use and design, but what are people who really want, more control, more customization? WordPress is often seen as the best for flexibility, but it takes more work to learn.
WordPress is, yeah, it's like a whole different animal. It's behind a huge chunk of the internet, and for good reason. I mean, you can do almost anything with it, but it requires a certain level of technical skill that can be a lot for some people. And you're also on your own for hosting, security updates, all that stuff, which can be a headache, especially if you're just starting out.
And then you've got those newer platforms like Shopify, which is laser focused on e-commerce, and Webflow, which is really for designers who want more control over the actual code.
Shopify, yeah, if you're building an online store and that's your main focus, they're amazing. All their features, all their integrations, it's all about e-commerce. And
Yeah.
they can handle like a ton of growth. But if you need a more general website, not just a store, Shopify is probably not the right tool. Webflow, now that's interesting. It's like a middle ground. You get a lot of the design control of coding, but without actually having to write code. But there's still a learning curve, so maybe not ideal for total beginners.
Okay, so we've looked at some of the big names, the big question, right? Where does Metanoz fit in with all this? It seems like they're trying to find that balance between being easy to use but also powerful, but are they pulling it off?
I think, based on everything we've talked about, the marketing, the user reviews, and how it compares to these other platforms, I think Metanoz could be a good option for a certain type of person. If you just want to get a website up and running fast, no hassle, and you care about speed, how quickly the site loads, Metanoz it's worth checking out. That drag and drop builder, the templates, the whole focus on speed, it makes it good for beginners or anyone who doesn't want to spend a ton of time on the technical stuff.
But we got to keep those red flags in mind, right?
Yeah.
The lack of clear pricing, it's worrying. Maybe the plans are more expensive than the competition, and they're hoping to get you on a sales call before you see the price tag. And the
Yeah.
e-commerce features, they seem good, but they might not be as complete or as easy to integrate as something like Shopify.
Exactly. And that whole customer support thing, that inconsistency, it's a concern. If you think you're gonna need a lot of help or you need problems fixed quickly, you might want to look at a different platform. At the end of the day, the best website builder for you, it depends on what you need, what you're trying to do.
And that's exactly what this deep dive has been about, right?
Yeah.
Giving you the information you need to make that decision. So now it's your turn. Think about what matters most for your website. Ease of use, customization, e-commerce, price, support. Weigh those things against what we've learned about Metanoz and how it stacks up against the competition.
Remember, there's no magic bullet, right? The best website builder is the one that helps you, achieve your goals and do it without driving you crazy. So do your research, ask questions, and choose the platform that fits your vision and fits your budget.
And don't believe all the hype. Look past the marketing and focus on what really matters for making your website a success. We hope this deep dive has given you, the knowledge and the confidence to make a smart choice. Good luck with building your website.